Hi, good evening. Once again on a Friday evening, just a few minutes after 10:30, and what a big day today. Nomination day for the March 2nd general and regional elections. So today we are reporting after a very, very eventful week. Last week, as we were here on Hold No Bars, the APNU, I keep saying PNC, but it's the PNC-led APNU AFC coalition had their launch at the Jubilee Park, Durban Park, and they were off to a good start. And then on Friday, that was on Friday, and then on Sunday, you had the PPPC launching at Kitty, their traditional launching spot, and not a huge crowd there. Today was nomination day, and you had a very large contingent from the coalition, and you have an extremely energized large contingent from the People's Progressive Party Civic, plus you had the other parties there. A couple of things that have happened over the last week and of note. But before I go into those, let me first offer my congratulations to all the parties that submitted nominations today. And more particularly, I want to offer congratulations to all those persons who put their name on lists of candidates to contest these national and regional elections, which is going to be held a year late. A year late, yes. So my congratulations to all of you. Regardless of how much oil money we have, how much gold we extract out of the ground, how much of our timber resources we harness, how much of our energy goes into agriculture and industry and tourism, our country is not going to go anywhere if we cannot respect the rights of each other. The rights of each other is the main foundation for prosperity. And I want to speak a little bit about that because as the campaigns were launched last week, and the flag started going up, we see a number of incidents which in my view, reminds us of the bullyism of the People's National Congress of the past. And let me say to you, yours truly has seen this in 1960s, the early 62, 63. Yes, I was just a toddler, but I lived in Albistown, and I was in a cinema where a bomb was thrown. I saw this in the run-up to, in the period of 1968 to 1992, literally an entire generation, and I'm seeing it resurface again. So this is the third time yours truly is experiencing this kind of bullying. You know, in 92, we were putting up flags in the vicinity of then the residence on Homestretch Avenue, and then we had an attack by some thugs from the PNC. And as I said before on this program and other programs, this is in the court records. A person convicted of that attack who got 4 years did say he was sent from the South Georgetown office of the People's National Congress. That office was located in Durban, or at Durban and George Streets. And at that time, Robert Williams and Robert Corbin were the ones in the office that sent them out, and another few persons. So we've experienced that. And we saw, as the campaign started heating up last week, we saw flags being attacked in Supply. There were a group who prevented the PPPC campaigners from putting up their paraphernalia. And if you go down the East Bank Road, you'll see 15 posts south of the Two Brothers gas station in Agricola. And in order to not have a confrontation, the PPPC persons who were putting up our flags, just left them, walk away from it. So there are 15 posts in the entire 20-mile stretch on the East Bank that is done that don't have. Today, everyone except the coalition people went, handed in their nominations, and left peacefully. However, you had throws of coalition supporters, camping out at different corners, taunting this and that. That's okay. Heckling and taunting is okay. But leaders have to stop their people from trying to prevent other persons from exercising their rights. So today, I want to say credit to the Guyana Police Force that did an excellent job in terms of keeping the APNU supporters in check as the PPP procession proceeded, especially along Lamaha Street and going up High Street to Umanayana to hand in the nomination papers for the PPPC. Also, what we understood last night, persons were camped out so that they could be the first to hand in their nominations. And people want to be the first because if inadvertently a candidate signs up for two different parties, I may have signed for party NNN and then I changed my mind, but I couldn't get them to pull back the nomination, and I changed my mind, I signed for party UUU or PPP. Whoever hands in first normally gets the nomination. So people line up. And that's why people want to be first. So people camped out. And apparently, I think it was a couple of the smaller parties were camped out and they were there first. And we understand, one of the parties was saying today that an election official came over and said to them, if you go to the guard hut, they will give you a number. And when they went to get the number, they got number 2. And they were number 1 camping out. They got number 2, right? And we all knew that number 1 was given to the coalition, right? Number 1 was given to the coalition by an election official. It was in the guard hut. And this is the first time in my 40 years of participating in elections in Guyana. Yes, yours truly is in this in this arena for 40 years. I have seen the elections official GCOM allocating numbers. You go, first come, you first hand in, and you leave, right? So this was concerning. Also, let me update you on a couple of other developments. The People's Progressive Party Civic is complaining once again extremely bitterly about the actions of the elections official. Look, I fully believe and sincerely believe that Madam Justice Claudette Singh, right, she has and will keep and want to keep her integrity intact. She says it's not for sale. Madam Justice Claudette Singh, your integrity may not be for sale, but if you don't put a check, if you don't harness Keith Lowenfield and some of them in GCOM, you are also going to be blamed. You are a learned judge. You've exercised your judgments over so many years on the bench. You cannot let Lowenfield and some of his subordinates lead you, as they say, by your nose ring. You know, the claims and objections period is gone. A revised voters list is issued. There is no law which allows GCOM to tamper with the list when a revised list of electors come out. No law whatsoever allows you to um, to tamper, to change, add, subtract information on the RLE. The period is finished, finito. So, Madam Chair, I can't understand how you will sit there and allow changes to happen to that list. It's done. It's finished. You can't do it. And so we heard all these fantastic things which Lowenfield and the Secretariat is saying about the work they've done to clean and purify this list. In fact, what they've been doing is trying their utmost to ensure that this list will favor one particular party. So the revised list came out. And let me see if I can forward this particular image to Kevin, right? Let me see if I can forward this image to Kevin, because and Kevin, if Kevin can put this up, Kevin, Kevin at MTV, yes. So Kevin, check your WhatsApp message, and you'll see I just sent you a picture, right? So here what was supposed to happen with the house-to-house registration that happened, which the Chief Justice acting, Madam Justice George Wiltshire, said you can use as verification. Now this house-to-house list was supposed to have been cross-matched against the NRR, the existing National Register of Registrants. Cross-matching not only means the name, but also the biographic data, right? So this cross-matching was supposed to have happened, and what this cross-matching was supposed to do was match even fingerprints, and so they will separate persons who are already registered and would have had a second registration. So we were looking, Tuesday, December 31st is the date when the revised list was published, All Year's Day. It was made available on New Year's Day to the parties. On page 1796, page 1796, item 225. Kevin, if you got that image and you can get it up for me, he says 1 minute. Item 225, you will see Candace Chu. Item 226, you also see Candace Chu. Candace Chu is listed as residing at 134 Avenue B, Great Diamond, East Bank, Demerara. 134 Avenue B, Great Diamond, East Bank, Demerara. I don't know if you can zoom in there a bit, Kevin, to the two highlighted parts, right? Item 226 is Candace Chu, 134 Block 12, Diamond, East Bank, Demerara. Now, the 226, Block 12, 134, Diamond, East Bank, Demerara. ID number 128-990-989, right? The previous item, Candace Chu, is 134 Avenue B, Great Diamond. It is physically the same location, except in one registration, the new one, it says Avenue B, Great Diamond. Then the other one, the original registration, said Block 12, Diamond, East Bank, Demerara. The new ID number is 1700422359, right? But the relative of Candace Chu, who lives in the same house at the same location, says we don't have two Candace Chu, we got one. We have one. So all of this work, this tens of millions, perhaps hundreds of millions of dollars we spent to cross-match biographical data, to cross-match names, to cross-match fingerprints. We still have issues like this coming up. We still have issues like this coming up. We also are doing a number of other checks on the list, and I'm sure the leader of the opposition and the presidential candidate for the PPP, Dr. Irfan Ali, will speak more about this, right? So when people hear we're speaking about these things, they're not figments of our imagination, Madam Justice Claudette Singh. They are real evidence which we are finding and presenting to you. So this tampering, and I call it tampering because if the law doesn't allow you to make changes after the claims and objections period is finished and you've inputted that data and issue revised list, you're tampering. You are tampering Keith Lowenfield and company and Madam Justice Claudette Singh. You have to be on guard. You have to be on guard. You said your integrity is not for sale, and I agree, I support, I respect, and I will say here and now, I sincerely believe so. But you have to take control. You have to take control of Lowenfield. Yes, the law, once election kicks in, gives the chief elections officer, Lowenfield, an inordinate amount of power. But you have control over this. The commission is the supervising authority of the chief elections officer. The commission comprising all sides, the government side and the opposition side, and you in the middle. So we're concerned, yes, and still so many of you still have concerns about what's happening inside. Today I was very, very, very pleased to see a guy who was a very strong young man, a very strong APNU supporter. And you know, when I visit my old neighborhood, he would tell me, Uncle Manzoor, I'm going down on my knees every day. And this is only a month ago. And I prayed that APNU come back to power, right? Today I saw him in the crowd of the People's Progressive Party civic contingent. And he said, Uncle Manzoor, I'm with you guys. I'm with you guys. He rode his red motorcycle, he put on his red shirt, and he said, Uncle Manzoor, these people are going to rig the elections from inside. He says, we will do, and he's from the South Georgetown area, my neighborhood, and he said, we are going to ensure that whatever is cast for whichever party, it is counted for that party in the state, in the polling places. But you guys have to watch what's happening there. And Madam Claudette Singh, this, in spite of all what you're saying, you need to have, and the commission, control over the decency in terms of the application of the extant law which we have. So I've spoken a lot, and I know the phones have been going. Let me take the first caller. Hi, you're on the air. Good evening. How are you doing?
Good night, sir.
Good evening.
How things, man?
Well, I'm a bit tired today because we were marching for 5 hours straight.
Would you agree with me that the senior people at VCOM, they have mastered the art of deception, they have mastered the art of somersaulting, they have mastered the art of double standard, and they have mastered the art of hypocrisy, and they are working in full-fledged for the PNC.
I might not agree with you, but I respect your view, sir.
Okay, sir.
Good. Thank you. Yes. So let the calls come, let the WhatsApp messages come. Let me just clear off that image which we had up and clear the WhatsApp messages. Hi, good evening. You're on the air. Hold no bars on nomination night.
Good evening, Mr. Nadir. How are you doing?
Excellent. How are you?
I just want to know, did she come here?
Uh-huh.
Everything that she's saying that she is integrity is not fulfilled.
Right.
Everything that the PNC commissioner proposed to say and produced to rig the election, she's seconding it. So I don't understand how she's saying that integrity is not fulfilled.
Well, I can't say everything, right? She stopped the house-to-house registration. Good. She was very firm in saying to David Granger that we can have elections by February. She was very firm, right? She didn't wiffle-waffle about that. And I was expecting we would have had the elections sometime in February. But Mr. Granger and his planners feel that a lot of persons and their people will come back from action, stay on for the elections. That's why he put it to March. So let's paint all her decisions with that broad brush. Madam Chair still has a lot of respect from me, and let us continue to ensure that we can expose what's happening around her so she can open her eyes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, I have somebody on the internet here, the WhatsApp message. Mr. Nadir, we need to let people understand that this administration will try every trick in the book to rig the elections. In order to stop this, we need to ensure we all cast our votes. Leave no room for them to vote for you. Thank you very much. Another caller on the line. Hi, good evening. A hot night tonight. Good evening.
Very good. I will listen to you all the time. You're Mr. Barron. That you from the AP and you craft and go to CBC. But you have not seen that the people from AP crafted over the AP and you. Everything is propaganda. But let me tell you something. If this blind man will see again on the 3rd of March, because if you feel the five, I mean, I don't marry the independent person, right? But the 5 with the AP and you AFC. And the blind man that is just now will say they will win the election again. No matter you go wrong and come wrong, so 1 minute I get to the AP and you. I don't independent body, but I look at everything and I feel, first thing at the thing today, TV today, they have Friday have more crowd, there are thousands people more than here. The first thing at the thing they do.
Right.
So if you look at that, if you have Friday have more 1,000 people, but Friday the people vote back for the coalition and power, and you can't turn your eyes on that. Understand? If the blind man would see again that would happen, and everybody know that would happen.
Just give me a couple of the persons who have crossed the floor. I scanned the list and I saw much of the same, but tell me a couple of the people who crossed from PPPC this time round and gone to the...
But that is why I wanted to know, because I have listened to...
No, but you made a bold statement just now. You said, Mr. Nadir, you haven't seen the many persons who crossed from the PPP to the coalition. All I mentioned is one person.
You know Indian people right now, they like shy, right? And they do think everything is secret, right?
I don't know about that. You might be painting all Indian people with a broad brush.
No, you know Indian people, they wouldn't jump out the thing just like that. So they would keep everything a secret. And
I don't know about that at all. I wouldn't allow you to perpetuate that image of Indian people being an Indian. I'll tell you why. Almost 15% of the Indian people jump out the shell and vote for the coalition in the last election. So don't let me go down that road, please.
No, don't worry, Alan say that vote for coalition. I listen to some of the people who work at the estate and the coalition. They're lying.
Good.
They just don't pick up the vote.
Okay.
You know what you on TV the other day? I was listening to the program.
Go ahead. I'm giving you a chance.
Jeffrey, wait, name, I can't remember exactly. He was in PDP the other day.
Henry Jeffrey.
Right.
Doctor.
He was saying, even though President Granger gave most of the Indian half of this country, they would vote for him. And it's true, because if you look at it, this thing that was done with race from the 60s states to bring this thing away.
I agree with you.
Century. We must look at ourselves as Ghanaians. If something are working with one president, even that developing the country, this is a very face facts of life.
Go ahead.
23 years, all of these human beings.
Right.
23 years, not 23 days.
Yes.
This country should be booming. 23 years. You can't come back to me now and tell me that you got plan now and you will be for 23 years. You didn't see all these things for 23 years. How you seen it now? How you out of power? How can you come back to the people after 4 years and tell people that you can do something for them? When you ban free education and they the first thing you ban free education. How can you come back to the people and tell people you can do for them? When you could fix the estate, how can you do that? Don't fool the people, Pado.
Okay.
Just to the 21st and 18 years I can have to with place. So we got to correct itself. And why I want it, I'm glad to see this country unite. That's my biggest wish. I want to see this country unite. Jaggi was on TV, so you'd never let people unite in this country. So
listen, President Jagdeo would never say so, right? He would never say he wouldn't let these people always. And the only way we can unite is if we start having respect for each other. Liar, right? Okay, so I wouldn't have you perpetuate another ill on the people. Hi, good evening. You're on the air.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, sir. How are you, man?
Excellent.
Yeah. This election,
Tell me.
we have to hold that lady accountable to in field, because you know why? If it Granger is the head of rigging election, I know him good. Understand? And we have to be careful to keep an eye open, partner. And if every time they rig this election, they can't pass the airport, because we could go after them. You understand? And we could go, we say the Lipton protest. Anytime they rig this election, they can't pass the airport, and I done that.
Thanks a lot. Hi, good evening. Hi, good evening. You're on the air.
Yes, good evening.
Go ahead.
Why, concerning the flags from a curriculum,
Yes.
I was a witness
Aha.
at the PPP never stopped there to put up any flags.
Okay.
I was a witness.
Okay.
Okay, they put up flag from McDoom and they passed and put up flag at from Eccles. They did not put up flags at Agricola.
Tell me something. Where were you on Thursday evening?
I was right on the public road. Okay? And I saw them when I was putting up the flag.
Okay. Where we just passed them just like that.
Listen to me. I work passenger bus. I work on a bus. And I saw everything that the guys were putting up the flag. Okay? So, you know, I don't like the way that you're accusing and say that people attack them.
I didn't say attack, right? I didn't say attack, right? I said to avoid. Good. We moved off from that spot, and I was out there. Good. I don't consider myself a liar. Let me take this call from the overseas that's coming in. Hi, good evening. You're on the air. Hello. Good evening. Good evening. Let me turn up the volume for you. Go ahead. If you don't speak up, I'll cut you off. Okay, I'm not getting you loud and clear. Go ahead. Very faint. Unfortunately, I can't hold up the program just for you. Hold on. Go ahead again. Try again. Okay. Okay, the reception is not good. The reception is not good. So, sorry about that. Overseas, the reception is not good. Let me take a next caller. Hi, good evening. You're on the air.
Good evening, Mr. Nadir.
Hi.
This coalition government,
Tell me.
leaders have need to talk to the supporters. They behave large in Georgetown today. Every con in Georgetown and gang, every time we are red, that's all red, just walking on the street today. These people, big people, are the cost in.
Okay, so yes, people were vociferous on the road. The police did an excellent job in keeping the traffic moving and keeping the groups apart. I saw a lot of heckling. I did a lot of walking. I didn't. So the display I saw today, while people were very enthusiastic in support of the coalition and the opposition, the PPPC people were also gyrating, and I didn't see what this caller was talking about. As I said to the previous call, I wouldn't allow you to perpetuate something which I didn't see on the people, right? Good. Okay, so we are going great this evening. The campaign is launched. The nominations have been submitted today, and we will wait in a couple of days, maybe 24 to 48 hours. The Elections Commission will go through all the submissions and then declare which list is clean and qualified. Okay, here what the Elections Commission will do now, right? When these lists go in, right, we don't get an approval right away. What happens is that the elections officials, they have teams of people who will take the list. First, to be a candidate, remember you can't have dual citizenship. So to be a candidate, you have to be of Guyanese citizenship alone. You have to be 18 years of age, and you have to be able to read and write English. I think those are the only criteria that you have for being a candidate. Guyanese, 18 years, read and write English. So what they will do, the Elections Commission wouldn't have all of the information on everybody who submitted, because if I am not a registered voter, they can't double check my credentials. But they have to accept that I'm Guyanese. So that's the candidates, right? They will also check to see if Manzoor Munsami has signed as a candidate for different lists, for the PPP list, or for the tag list, or for the other list. You could only sign up for one list. So they will check that too, right? What else they will check? Each list has to be submitted by petitioners. Let's say 175 to support a regional list, 300 to support a national list. So they're literally going to go now, but petitioners have to be registered voters. You do not have to be a registered voter to be a candidate, but to be a petitioner, you have to be a registered voter. And if you want to sign for the regional list of any party, let's say Region 6, you want to sign for the tag list, then you must be a registered voter in Region 6. You can't have a Region 4 person signing a Region 6 petition. So the Elections Commission right now, since the lists are submitted, they will start going through all of the petitioners. And they probably have about, when you count up, close to 2,000 signatures will have to back. You have the candidates for the national elections. You have the constituency seats in the national elections. You have the national list. You have the regional council elections. So all of these they have to go through. When everything is clear, then a list is approved. So let's say the tag party has to get 300 names for the national list. When elections people go through, they may see that Manzoor Munsami signed two lists. He signed the tag list and he signed the HAG list, right? Which one goes in first, that is the one that they will assign. So this process happens right now, it is happening. That's the process that happens within GCOM when you submit the list. So here you have a team of people in GCOM with the computers, with the voters list, and they're checking right now, they're checking. Let's say Manzoor Munsami, who signed on the HAG list, right, was knocked out. And that left 299 petitioners, but the law says 300. So the the Hag Party will be given an opportunity to go and get an additional signature. So there are corrections that happen from this evening, I'm sure, as faults come up with the list. The Secretariat of Elections Commission should be calling up the political parties and telling them what are the corrections to be made. And so parties do get an opportunity to hand in corrections. There's a deadline, I think it might be 48 hours or whatever. And so after that process is completed on a particular list, then they give them the green light that their list has been approved, right? So this is the process which happens and is happening now. And that is how a list is approved. Not because you hand in a list means that your list is qualified. It has to be checked by the Elections Commission. Sorry about that caller, I just noticed. But I thought, in our new dispensation, those of us who have gone through this and have like 40 years experience like me, could share some of this with you, because you are the voter. We have to be able to provide you with information so that you can understand the system. And as the election campaign go on, I will try to inform you as best as I can based on my knowledge of how the workings are. Hi, good evening. You're on the air. Hold no.
Hi, good night, sir. How are you tonight?
Excellent. How about you?
Okay, you tired?
Not yet. I was a bit tired at the beginning, but now that
this is good exercise. You every big shoot, you should get a 5 hours march.
Okay.
You know.
You don't like me?
I don't like you. Look good at tonight to the 5 hour.
Thank you, sir.
All right. It's so transparent that everybody is seeing clean through GCOM. That they're capable and they have the capability, potential of rigging an election. Right? I mean, you would justify and try for voucher the lady, the chairman, right? And that she called the election and she named a date for the election.
No, she didn't name a date. She gave a period for when she's going to be ready.
Let's go back. This government always said they have to wait on GCOM for the election.
Right,
to prepare the election. GCOM was saying they're not ready, they gotta get this, they gotta, and they would keep prolonging it and prolonging it with nothing definite until the Organization of American States, Patricia Scotland, demanded that they put the name of it. They didn't adhere.
Barna Scotland is from the OAS or the Commonwealth of Nations?
Commonwealth, no?
Yeah, okay. I think it's Commonwealth.
But she was a person that demanded that they set a date for the election. Right? And this is when I think they did do it. Right? When he made the proclamation. All right. You're vouching for Claudette Singh, right? And you won't want that. Well, I know Mr. Jagdew is the one that selected her. And maybe you gotta go in streamline with what he did because it's a local contradictory, right? I mean, that's my observation.
Go ahead.
But you gotta remember, she could say whatever she wants about herself. She could qualify herself and she could justify herself. But remember, in this world, these people sometimes are not what they say they are. You get them what I'm saying?
I'm listening.
People say things they are, but sometimes they're not who they say they are. Right? So, going to the election commission again. How is it that the PPP alone, it is blatant that the PPP alone has to be wrangling and tangling with GCOM to get their concerns looked at, right? Everybody is saying that, but from the callers where you're saying, you're hearing, this is so blatant now that everybody is seeing clean through GCOM. Right? But let me read something to you, right?
Go ahead.
GCOM and its chair sole purpose, right? GCOM and its chairman's sole purpose is to facilitate free and fair elections whoever or whichever party wins, so be it. But if the GCOM is indulging in partisanship, they have defeated their purpose, and the election can only be deemed invalid and compromised. Right? So if GCOM is embarking on any type of partisanship, the election don't have to call and don't have to finish it. It is already compromised because they have already taken a side, and it is blatant to the whole world.
Okay.
They have already taken a side.
Okay. But let us now ensure the citizens can do their part. I said previously over and over again that to minimize the rigging, you have to maximize the voting. So whoever you're voting for, whatever, come out and vote. Come out and vote, right? If you leave ballots in the polling place, there's an opportunity for tampering. We have to watch the statement of polls as they move from the polling stations to the returning officers and then to GCOM. People, it is your right. People, it is your right. Once that statement of poll is put on this polling place, it is your right to go and inspect it. It is your right to take a picture of it. No police person can stop you going into the compound and taking a picture of that statement of poll. So what you have to do, we are in the age of this modern technology, transparency, and social media. What you need to do is watch the polling place. The moment the statement, the poll goes up, go take a picture and post it on your Facebook page, post it on our website. So, and plenty of you need to go and take the same picture so that there is duplication. So it's not one person alone. It's 5, 6, 7 persons from all parties. All the parties have an interest in publicizing that statement of poll that is issued, because somehow between when that statement of poll is signed off and it reaches to the returning officer, it could change. Hi, good evening. You're on the air. Go ahead. Good evening.
Right? So they tell me that you can't get paid. If you're the worker, we can't get paid till after the election. What do you think about that?
Which group?
Region 3.
Region 3. And Region 3, which area, which group you're working with?
I never work with no group. I work with a region.
Region. No, man, they ain't got to wait till after the election. Salaries don't stop. They work on 1/12 of last year's budget. So they get money for salaries, they get money to electricity, telephone, fuel, and so somebody lying to you. They're trying to punish you.
We can't money, we can't pay till after the election.
In Region 3?
Yeah.
You call Faber, man, let Mr. Faber, regional chairman, know, right?
You know that?
Yeah, no, man, they got money. The business of government don't stop, right? They operate on 1/12.
Right?
Well, maybe this is a different thing. That's the SIP program, right? Yeah, so maybe the SIP program got to get money voted because that comes under a subvention. Those subventions got to be approved by Parliament.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but they can't do nothing because they have to get an approval of the subvention from Parliament. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, that's right there.
Yes, so, but the regular running of the ministry, the regular staff, the permanent staff, and so, they can get paid. But if you are a SIP worker, then you have a problem. Hi, good evening. Hold no bars. You're on the air.
Good evening, sir. Good Happy New Year. And
All the best to you too.
Is that me?
Yes, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hello?
You're on the air.
Okay. Yeah, I want to make a contribution tonight.
Please do.
Try to get out the months now. Okay, I was reading the news today, and I read about Harmon making comments about Mark Phillips. He should be the last one to make any comments on Mark Phillips calling it two kids. That comment should go to Nagamutu and Ramdatan.
Okay.
Right? Because and Mark Phillips
I won't defend Mark Phillips all. I know Mark Phillips is going to put him in a place. I know that. He's a man with integrity and respect. And one thing I want to know, when the going and gets tough, when he was Harmon, he run. And now he come back. He has no integrity. Yeah, he came back now, want to be good boy. And they praise Granger so much. Granger have a right to go to church because he have blood on his hands. I could remember. During election time, you remember those 3 guys he killed?
I don't know about him killing, but they were ballot box martyrs.
The ballot box. The guy that sent the ballot box, he was in charge of the army that time. And then the next thing I could remember vividly, at Starbuck Market, he used to get the army, take away those people bread and property not on it. These are things, don't forget these things. How he call him such a good boy, a God-fearing man? He got to be praying because the amount of sins that he commits, praying can't help him at all.
Okay, thanks a lot. So we have to take a few more calls. It's just about 8 minutes remaining on the program. Let's get a few more views on the air. So yes, and let us keep it evidential here and over the next couple of weeks so that we can have a healthy discussion based on facts. Yes, Mr. Granger was in the army. He cannot disassociate himself from the army, and he was in the army during the horrible period, prior to the elections, 1980, 1985. What you would have seen was 2 or 3 months before the elections, armored cars, the army taking control of ballot boxes and all kinds of stuff. Granger can't disassociate himself from that, and he can't excuse himself by saying he was just following orders, right? Internationally, soldiers have been condemned for crimes against humanity, even though they said they were following orders. So let's come back now to Mark Phillips. I know Gail Teixeira, I really thought she hit a good punchline on Sunday. Gail Teixeira said in her speech at Kitty, she said, look, in Mark Phillips, this is the first chief of staff that we have coming into politics at this level, right? Yeah, you had Commodore Gary Best. He was there, and she said, you know what, Granger was never chief of staff because his leaders didn't trust him, right? And now we could understand a bit. So I thought that resonated well with the people in Kitty. Mr. Granger has all of his posters and banners up saying, I think, but it's honesty and decency. I always thought that charity begins at home. If he sees himself as honest and decent, well, he should be charitable to himself. Today was nomination day. Many parties showed up at Umanayana City Hall. The traditional place was not in a state to take on nomination day, so they switched it to Umanayana. I think was a poor choice of places because anybody could have lighted a match and you could have had confusion. Because the leaves on Umanayana are highly flammable. Nevertheless, it went well. I give excellent marks to the Ghana Police Force and the commander at Brick Dam, who himself was out on the road with his troops and did an excellent job in terms of keeping the parades, the parties moving along, and also in keeping the parties separated. So yes, we're going to hear all the promises. Today, President Jagdeo, leader of the opposition, in addressing the crowd after the PPPC handed in, did pledge that within 5 years, he said, first of all, the school voucher program will be reintroduced, and within 5 years, it will be $50,000 for every child in school. $50,000 within 5 years for every child in school. And he also made some other commitments on behalf of the PPPC. Those are all issues that are addressed in the manifesto. With 4 minutes remaining on the program, we might be able to take a few more comments on the telephone and also on the WhatsApp messages. Someone was telling me, I don't know how true it was, I was on the road, but they said that Mr. Granger had a press conference at Umanayana after he handed in his list of candidates. I'm not too sure if that was so. Then that would not have been a nice thing to do, to hold up the other people. Hi, good evening. You're on the air. Hold no bars. Go ahead.
You know, I would like you, right? And I like I tell you that to follow with the thing because I like your bad for people. But I just wonder why how we are not praise Jack, you like he's gone, like he's better than I are. And he disrespect I are. Because first thing you do. Jack, you respect man like Frank Anthony.
Yes.
Should be the Prime Minister.
Should be the Prime Minister.
Give him clean.
Okay.
I like him. Yeah, so there are other people who went to the party should have been Prime Minister. Why you gotta be an outsider when you could decide him, Granger taking you from the army, a old man from the army to be the leader. Jack, you don't respect none of the 24 members of the party. None of y'all you respect. Y'all see Jack, you're the guy that Jack, you all of y'all, Jack, you handpicked. If another for being the lead candidate for the party. I tell you, if they got people, if another was Minister of Tourism, what he did for tourism, he didn't build tourism, you was Minister of Tourism too. Understand? Jack, you respect none 24 years in the party. Nobody respect. Jack, you feel okay, you like he's God. That's how you see. And that's why you will lose this election.
I can give you the other minute because we got 2 more minutes, so I'll give you the last few minutes so you could wind up tonight. You have the last say tonight.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know why I dislike the UV party? Just the other day? Because one man appeared to me like he's God, he get the solution, I know you don't want the solution. You understand?
Okay.
Give other people a chance, you do for 12 years. You alone at 12 years. I didn't do nothing for it. Well, I can remember I used to work at the estate. They tell me in 1992 that when they win the election, 300 will fall back again. When Mr. Damatar was chairman of the estate, he cut out all the incentives from the sugar workers. You understand? So I mean, know how you can fix things now when you do all these things. Understand? But the one man get problem with the job, he have no respect for, I would not say it again, he got no respect for none of the 24 members of the party. None of them he got no respect for.
Great.
He see himself like, hey, what you have to look to ye, and that's how we all see, and like a God, and that's how you all lose his election.
He's a very good leader though, right? I respect him for that.
He was 23 years for doing what he's supposed to be doing.
So on that note, you and I will agree to disagree. And I want to thank you for your comments because my operator is giving me the cutoff, right?
Thank you. Happy New Year.
All the best, man. I hope we meet up sometime, right?
All right, good night.
Take care, man. All the best. Great. And on that note, Kevin is signaling it's time to wrap up. And we want to wish all of you, again, a very, very prosperous, healthy 2020, a healthy election campaign. Let us keep it civil. We can be very, very aggressive in our support, but do not stop another person from being equally aggressive in his or her support for another party. Again, to all the persons, I really, really, really feel good that a lot of persons have put their names up to be candidates. You know, today at Umanayana, I saw a lot of persons who I knew as little kids, you know, very, very small. They're there in different T-shirts supporting different parties. That is healthy for democracy. So from all of us here, congratulations to all of you who are going to be partaking in the elections. All of you have a responsibility to ensure that whoever votes for you, those votes are counted and counted for you, allocated, recorded, and also announced for you. congratulations once again. On behalf of Kevin, the directors of MTV, and on my own behalf, thanks for being part of our program again. And we want to wish all of you a great rest of the evening. Good night.